this computer. Hope my voice is audible. Yes, perfect. Okay, thank you. And this is day 2 of network and network security training here. And okay, let's start with today's session. And hope you had few issues with the videos, downloading videos of day 1. Google Drive didn't support much. So we came up with the idea of uploading this to YouTube. So we have the videos uploaded to the YouTube, and this link will be uploaded to you, or it will be sent to you in Skype, in Telegram, and it will also be shared in Zoom. So you can make use of this. I hope people won't be having trouble watching the video here, right? And I hope you all got the group link. So coming with the today's session, we'll see something about IP address, what you have seen yesterday, and what is being left in IP address. So I told you yesterday about this. IP address is a basic numerical representation of any device which is connected in internet. Yes, and you also saw there were 3 classes of IP address. You had class A, you had class B, and you had class C. Yes, and you also saw the range for all these IP address. For class A, class B, and class C, you saw different ranges of ranges here, and probably starting with the range for class A will have an IP range from numbers range from 0 to 126 to be specific, and class B is from 128 to 191, and class C is from 192 to 223. We saw this yesterday. Suppose you have an IP address of 132.10.1.2, fine. If you come across any IP address like this, which class of IP address is this? Fine. It is class B. Yes, it is class B. How do you find this? Because the number starts with 132 here. So 132, it falls under between 128 and 191. So it is pretty obvious it is class B. And in case you come across an IP like this, 220.1.2.11, if you come across an IP address like this, which class is this? This is class C. How do you conclude that? Because the number is 220, and so probably it falls between 192 and 223 here. So it is class C, right? Don't get confused with IP address of the other octets here. Say if you have an IP address of 120.220.255, right? Don't get confused with the other numbers here. You have to look at the first number and conclude what class of IP address is this. We saw this yesterday. Yes. And class A's range is from 127, but 127 is loopback address. We won't be using that much, right? So having said this, we also saw a few things about how IP is being assigned to companies. So we came up with this idea that class A is being assigned to bigger MNCs. Class B is assigned to smaller, it is assigned to mid-level companies here. And class C is assigned to small companies and home users. Yes, so if it's a bigger MNC, probably they'll assign class A, and if it's a mid-level company, they are going to assign class B, and small and home, yes, it is going to be class C. And why this category of assignment for bigger companies, for mid-level companies, and small and home companies? To understand this, we first need to understand IP address architecture here. As I told you, you have 4 octets here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes, each has 8 bits. Either it will have 8 zeros or 8 ones. So each has 8 bits, 8 bits, 8, and 8. And that is why IP address is called 32 bits. When you calculate all the 8s, it will be either 8 zeros or 8 ones, starting from the range here. Let me close this. class A, B, and C, and we know IP's range is from 0 to 255. IP address range, this is the base, 0 to 255. So the starting IP address will be 0.0.0.0, right? And the ending IP address will be 255.255.255.255, right? In between the IP address goes like the 0.0.0.0.1, 0.0.0.2, 3, 4, it goes on like that. So how many combinations or how many IP address you can get out of it? You can get 4.2 billion IP address. You'll get 4.2 billion IP address here. And if you ask me, do we have 4.2 billion devices in our world? No. We have around 11.2 billion Android devices alone. So smartphones and a lot of other devices. So more than the number of IPs which can be assigned, we have more number of devices. So that is why we have gone for a different level of IP address, that is IPv6, which will be discussed later. But now, having said this, we have 4.2 billion IP address. It goes like this. Yes. Now, in this IP address, we'll take any one IP address. We'll take 210.1.2.3. This is a class C IP address. Fine. In this IP address, we have to identify or we have to categorize into network portion and host portion. Network and host. This is N and this is host. And whenever I say host, host refers to computers here. Host refers to computers. And you know, class A is assigned to MNCs here. And this is for mid-level companies and this is for small companies and home users. And out of these three classes here, class A, class B, and class C, which class requires more number of computers, or where is the need for more number of computers from all these three classes? Yes, it is very obvious. It is class A. Yes, why? Because MNCs, probably in MNCs, you will have more number of computers. So number of host portion should be more. So when I take the 4 portions of IP address like this, I can fill this with a N or I can fill this with a H. It can be a network portion or a host portion. This can be a network or host. This can be a network or host. This can be a network or host, right? We can fill it with any type of portions here. Now, for class A, I need more number of host portions. Yes, for class A, I need more host portions. Why? Because I'm assigning class A IP address to MNCs here, and MNCs will have, larger companies will require more number of computers here. Fine. So what I do, it is like voting. I should vote for a lot of H here rather than networks. So I might vote like this. Why? For class A, my vote will be like this: network, host, host. What is the reason? Because class A is assigned to MNCs and MNCs require a lot of host portions here. So it is like this. And class B, it is for mid-level companies. So I'll assign 2 networks and 2 hosts. This is the standard here. And for class C, it has very less number of hosts. Very less number of hosts means the host portion should be very less. .h. I have only 1 host portion. Right? This is how you assign network and host portion. I'll tell you practically, or only when you understand IP address in detail like this. When you go for network scanning, when you go for network scanning in hacking or in network auditing or anything, right? When you want to scan your own network, or when you want to perform a network scan or anything which regards to network, probably you should be understanding this concept here, what I have explained. Only then you will understand what is happening in the background, right? So I hope now you understood why we go for 1 network portion here and 3 host portion here, and 2 networks and 3 networks and only 1 host portion here. Based on the number of hosts which is being assigned, yes, we go on with things like this. Now, let me go for this. So as of now, we have done this. For class A, it is going to be 1 network and 3 hosts. And class B, it is 2 network portion and 2 host portion. And class C, it is going to be 3 networks and 1 host portion, right? So network and host portion, this is with regards to IP address. Now, based on this, you will have your subnet mask. Your subnet mask, that is your default subnet mask for any IP address. And what is the subnet mask here? Let me go to my command prompt and I'll type ipconfig, and see here I have a IPv4 address, I have this, I have a subnet mask here, and I have a default gateway. Yes, so when you go for this, so I have my IP address, that is okay. IP address is what I have assigned. This is what I have assigned here. So it is 192.168.0.3. And the subnet mask is by default. Default, it has assigned. So how to identify or how to find out the default subnet mask for each class? By finding this, you won't be doing anything, but this is just for your understanding. You're going to see this. So here you have to assign this, where to find the subnet mask, you're going to find the subnet mask for each class. So you will assign n is equal to 255, n is 255, and h to be 0. Host portion is 0 and network portion is 255. So what you will get here, you will get 255.0.0.0. That's the default subnet mask. Default subnet mask for class A. And for class B, what is the default subnet mask? 255.255.0.0. And for class C, it is 255.255.255.0. Fine. So for any class, if you assign any class of IP address, the subnet mask is going to be default. It will be calculated. Let me show you how this is done. CPA.cpl. I'll tell you where you have to go to check and what you have to do. But please listen to this now. Okay, so now my IP address is automatically obtained. Now I'll go for the IP address here. I can assign any IP address. I'll assign 192.168.1. I'll assign it as 10. So the IP address what I've assigned here is class C. Yes. So this is going to be class C. And what is the default subnet mask for class C? Class C, it is going to be 255.255.255.0. 3 network portion, 1 host portion here. So when I press tab, when I press tab, it automatically fills this default subnet mask based on the class. Fine. If I change this IP address to, we'll delete this. We'll change this IP address to class A. I'll enter this as 10.1.1.2. Fine. This is class A IP address. So what should be the default subnet mask? The default subnet mask should be 255.0.0.0. See, it will be automatically assigned. So the default subnet mask, it automatically assigns based on the class of your IP address. You don't have to assign this. Right? You don't have to assign this. It will. What we are discussing here is all about private IP address. It is not about public IP address. It is only about the private IP address here. Fine. So whatever class you are going to assign here, cancel, fine. Whichever class of IP address you are going to assign, your computer is going to automatically take the default subnet mask for that particular IP address. What is a subnet mask? Where is it used? And how we are going to make use of, because you can tell, yes, Shankar, this is an IP address, and you told this is a numerical representation for any device which is connected to online. We understood this. But what is this subnet mask? What is the use of this numerical value which we never use? This can be used for a lot of different purposes that will be discussed in subnetting. Subnetting, you will see why we are going for subnetting, what criteria we have, what is the need for subnetting, and how subnet mask plays an important and vital role in subnetting, right? So as of now, understand IP address is the identification number of your computer. That is perfectly fine. And subnet mask can be used for subnetting. Its importance will be known when we go for subnetting, and details of subnetting will explain it later after this is over, fine. So this is network and host portion, and what is a subnet mask. Now we'll look at what is NID and BID. NID and BID. NID is called a network ID, and BID is called a broadcast ID. It's called a broadcast ID. Fine. This will help you in scanning. Only if you understand this, you can perform a network scan. You can identify computers in your scan, and you can do a lot of other things. Fine. So please watch this closely. So yesterday, what you have done, you had a switch, and you had, I asked you to connect 3 computers. This happened in Packet Tracer. Yes. So Packet Tracer, it was like 3 computers or laptops, any device. And I asked you to configure, this is 192.168.1.2, and this is 192.168.1.3, and this is 192.168.1.4. And I asked you to ping after connecting this with a switch, and this cable is a copper straight through cable, and you connected this, you chose a fast Ethernet interface from here and connected with a fast Ethernet interface of a switch. And after assigning IP address to your computer, fine, I asked you to ping from one computer to another computer through command prompt, and asked you to check if you're getting a reply. In case if you get a reply, what you have done is right. In case if you get request timed out, probably there is some problem with your connection or the IP or somewhere, right? So Packet Tracer is used for this. Now, we'll consider the same scenario here, fine. We'll go for what is a network ID and what is a broadcast ID, and I'll tell you how to find this and how we can use this for network auditing, fine. So in further classes, you will also be seeing about a router here. We'll explain what a router is, how to connect a router, how to assign an IP address to this router, fine. The exact same process which you will be doing it in real time, fine. We'll teach you in Packet Tracer, and here the IP address of this is 192.168.1.1, fine. This device here, the router is called your default gateway device. This is called a default gateway device, fine. Default gateway, or it is called as a border device or the end device, anything, fine, a gateway device. That is why when I gave my IP address here, it showed the IP address of my computer is 0.3, subnet mask is this, and see here the default gateway IP address. The default gateway IP address is 192.168.0.1, fine. And the switch will not have an IP address. It's the router which has the IP address. So the IP address of my router right now is this 192.168.0.1. What does it mean? Suppose from this computer, I open facebook.com. From my browser, I open facebook.com. So this packet based on my IP configuration, I have this as 255.255.255.0, and it says the default gateway is 192.168.1.1, right? So the packet, now it is looking for, it doesn't know where to go. The packet from here, it doesn't know where to go, and it is destined to facebook.com. So it will have a look at the default gateway, and it says 1.1, and it will search where is 1.1, and 1.1 is here. And so the packet will be forwarded here and then here, and it will reach the router. Once it reaches the router, it will forward to Facebook and get the reply back. So default gateway is an IP address of your end device or your gateway device, which is needed for your packet to go out of LAN, right? Any internet connection which should happen, or you want to access any website, that should have a default gateway, and the packets will be forwarded to the default gateway, and router later it forwards the packet to other devices. Perfectly fine. Right now, network ID. Now, you know, this is your network. This is your LAN. This is your local area network here. Why do you call this as a local area network? Because this is under your control. You want to remove this device, you can remove this device. You want to change the router, you can change the router. You are free to do whatever you want in your local area network. You can design, you can configure, you can add devices based on your preference and interest. Fine, that's your local area network. Now, in this local area network, what you're going to do, we'll speak about network ID. Network ID is like a common representation for all your devices. Network ID, it's a common ID which is used to represent the entire network. Right? It is used to represent the entire network. It's also an IP address. It's also an IP address. I'll explain this in detail. Fine. We'll take a non-technical example. A non-technical example of your college. Say we have ECE department, right? You have ECE department in your college, and there are many students. There are many students studying in ECE department. Say there are nearly 40 students in ECE department. Fine. His name is Shankar. His name is Arun. This is Neeraj, and this is Sandeep. You have different people studying here. Fine. And I ask him, what is your name? He says Shankar. What is your name? He says Arun. Fine. But when I want to collectively call them, I can call them, they all belong to, these are the students of ECE department. Fine. I can give a representation like this. I'll say all these students belong to ECE department. Yes. Likewise, you have Shankar's computer here. You have Arun's computer here. You have Neeraj's computer here. All these computers are there, but collectively I can have an IP address like this department name. This is like a network ID. Fine. So I can say all these computers belong to this network. So that should be IP for that. And what is that IP and how to find the network ID? And this network ID, what I'm going to find here is common for all the devices, whatever devices you have. So how to find the network ID? You have steps to find network ID. So first step, say your computer's IP address. Your computer IP is 192.168.1.2. Fine. This is your computer's IP address. And in case you want to find the network ID, what you have to do? First, you have to find class. You have to find the class, and then you have to find the number of network and host portion. Find the number of network and host portion, and then make the host portion 0 as 0. If you make the host portion as 0, then you will get the network ID. Fine. I'll explain you this. So first, to find the class. So we have this IP address called, we'll delete ECE department. ECE, okay. So we have the IP address of 192.168.1.2, which is this computer's IP address here. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to find the network address of this. So the first step is class. Which class is this? This IP address belongs to class C. Yes, this belongs to class C. That is step number 1. Find class of this IP address, and this is 192.168.1.2, and this belongs to class C. Perfect. And for class C, how many network and host portions you have? For class C, I'll type this here. Probably that will be good. For class A, for class B, and for class C. Yes. And for class A, you will have 1 network and 3 hosts. And for class B, you will have 2 networks. Oh my God, 2 networks and 2 hosts. And for class C, you will have 3 networks and 1 host. Right? That is how we calculated subnet mask. So we found out this to be class C, and number of network and host portion. We have 3 network and 1 host portion. 3 networks and 1 host. So what do we have here? We have 3 network portion, and the last one is a host portion. Fine. The last one is a host portion here. This is the second step. And what is the third step? Third step is to make the host portion as 0. You have to make the host portion as 0. So probably you should make this as 0. So now what you'll get 192.168.1.0. Now this is your network ID, 192.168.1.0. I told you this network ID will be common for all. Yes, this is going to be common for all the devices. Let's check that. Now we'll take a different IP address. We'll go for 1.4, 192.168.1.4. Now 192.168.1.4. This is another computer here, and you want to find the network address of this. What we'll do? You have to find the class. This is class C, and class C has how many network and host portion? It has 3 network and 1 host portion. Make the host portion as 0. If you make it as 0, it is 192.168.1.0. See, it's the same. Imagine you have another computer here. You have another computer. This computer's IP address is 192.168.1.100. Right? And 1.100, and even if you take the network address of this, you will have it as 192.168.1.0. So for any device in your LAN, you take any device which is connected in your LAN, you take any IP address and find the network address, probably you will get this. Right? You will have this as the IP address. I mean, like the network address. So I can say this is a collective representation of your network. I can say, okay, this computer's IP address is 1.2, and this computer's IP address is 1.3, 1.4. Or I can say all these computers, all the computers belong to 1.0 network. I can say it like this. These computers belong to 1.0 network, or I can say these computers belong to 192.168.1.0 network, anything. So it is a collective representation of all these devices, network ID, right? And if you observe very closely, I told you the host portion is 0, fine. What does it mean? It means the first 3 numbers here, the first 3 network portions will never change for any computer in your LAN. See this 192.168.1 dot, 192.168.1 dot, 192.168.1 dot. The network portion never changes. I told you the host refers to computers. Yes, the host refers to computers here, and only the host portion will vary. See, this is 1 here, this is 2 here, this is 3 here, this is 4 here. And we are not bothered about the host. We are bothered about the network. That is why we have network portion as constant, and this will be your network ID. So in case, not in case, for your to do here, to do first, find IP of your computer, which will be very easy for you, IP of your computer. And second, find network ID of your IP. Find out what is the network ID. So network ID is a common IP address which is used to as a collective representation of your entire network. Fine. Now, what is broadcast ID? BAD is the broadcast ID. Broadcast ID, probably this is used for sending a single message to all the computers. You should have known about the broadcast list in your WhatsApp. What is a broadcast list? You create broadcast group, send one message, and whoever is there in the broadcast list, the message will get delivered to all of them, right? That you call it as a broadcast list. So broadcast list, broadcast ID is also an IP address. It is used to, in case if you send a single message to the broadcast ID, it will get delivered to all the devices in your LAN. So broadcast ID is used to send a single message to all computers, all devices in your LAN, fine. It's also an IP address. It's also an IP address. Now, having said this, let me tell you this. Important things to note. One, you cannot assign network ID or broadcast ID IP, right, to any computer. This is point number one. It is very important. You cannot assign a network ID or a broadcast ID to a single computer here. Network ID and broadcast ID is applicable for all the classes, right? For an example, I showed you with class C here. In case if it is um, 10.2.10.1, if this is the IP address of your computer and you want to find the network ID, it is class A and it is network, host, and host. What will be the network ID? 10.0.0.0. As simple as that. This will be your network ID of your computer, right? And as I told you, this is ECE department, and we had Shankar who is here, we had Arun, we had Neeraj, we had Sandeep, right? Shankar, Arun, Neeraj, Sandeep. This particular name here is like the IP address of the computer. And I very well know Shankar belongs to ECE department, but can I name him as ECE department? Can I name this guy Shankar as ECE department? Hereafter your name is ECE department. I cannot name him as ECE department. I told you this is like network ID, and you can never ever assign a network ID to any of the devices. Means I cannot assign an IP address like this 1.0 to your mobile, to your computer, or to your laptop. Why? Because this is a network ID here, and probably you cannot. This is a collective representation address, and this is also a collective representation IP address for the entire network. So you cannot assign this to any devices. That is point number one. Network ID and broadcast ID as well. And say we'll consider this. If my computer's IP address is 192.168.1.2. If this is my computer's IP address, right? Important things to note. The first IP address, the first IP will be the network ID. The first IP address of this range will be my network ID. What is the first IP address? The first IP address being 192.168.1.0. Yes, 1.0 is the first IP address of this range. This will be my network ID. And the last IP address, IP will be the broadcast ID. What is the last IP address of this series? Anyone? What will be the last IP address of this series? Very good, 255. So it is 192.168.1.255. That will be my broadcast ID, right? So the first IP address and last IP address, I cannot assign to any of the devices. This and this, I cannot assign it to any of the devices. In between, we have one more IP address, the second IP. What is the second IP address? Will be the router's IP address, router or the default gateway IP address. So what is the second IP address? 192.168.1.1. This is by default, right? This is by default. You can change this, but normally like 98%, all your default gateway modems IP address will be the second IP address, that is 1.1. So whenever you see an IP address like this, I don't know, probably whenever you see IP address in your computer, you might have seen, okay, this is my IP address, and then you should have moved on. But now you should understand, okay, this is my IP address, and this is my subnet mask. And why I get this number like this? Because my IP address is class C, and for class C, why do I get this number? Because it is 3 network portion and 1 host portion. So it is very obvious I'm getting this number. And what is a default gateway? This is my router's IP address. In case if I'm connected to my router, I want to access my router, I can use this, right? And also you should understand, if I have an IP address like this, my network ID will be 192.168.0.0. What is your broadcast ID? 192.168.0.255. Perfect. And what can you do with, now I say I'm connected to my office Wi-Fi prompt, fine, prompt. And what happens is my Wi-Fi's default gateway is this. You might ask me, what can we do with this IP address? Can we access your modem? Yes, you can access. I'll go to my Chrome. I'll give my default gateway IP address 192.168.0.1. That is my default gateway's IP address. When I give this enter, probably it goes to my login page of my modem. Fine. If you know the username and password, yes, you can go configure, change the settings of your Wi-Fi modem. Wireless will be taught later, but as of now, understand this. The difference between modem, okay, I'm speaking about a router, yes, and for your home, you cannot buy a router, fine. Your laptop will cost you 40,000, fine. And if you buy a laptop for 40,000, you won't be buying a router for 1 lakh. People will laugh. So an alternative of this router can be your Wi-Fi modem, which can do most of the functions, but to limited capabilities. But yes, a modem can be a replacement for the router, and this is like $1,200, which can serve the purpose. Yes, okay, and that is with network ID, broadcast ID. Okay, let me explain this. You should have wondered, okay, network ID, I have found the network ID, great. Now, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to do anything useful with my network ID? I'll tell you this. Again, your network, your switch, you have computers connected, and to make it short, this is 192.168.1.2, this is 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, and you are sitting in this computer, fine. This is you who is using 1.2. Now, imagine this is a company called ABC. ABC is a big company which has more than 500, not 500, we'll take it as 100 computers, fine. It has 100 computers. It has so many computers here, and you are working as a network admin here, fine. You're working as a network admin, your manager walks up to you and he is asking you, okay, Shankar, how many devices are on? Means how many computers are on? We have 100 computers here, and it's a 2-story building here. We have 50 computers here, 20 computers in the first floor, and another 30 computers in the second floor. And you are sitting here in the ground floor. Your manager is asking you how many computers are on. Can you tell him, sir, can you please wait? Let me go and check. By the time when you go check, come back, the device status will change. So many computers will be off or it will be on. Fine. So what do you do as a network admin? You perform a basic network scan. You perform a basic network scan, which is possible with tools what we are going to see in Kali Linux. Don't go for this tool immediately and come up with your doubts in Skype group. I'll tell you when to use this tool and how to use this tool. But as of now, I'll just give a basic usage, because I want you guys to understand where is network ID used. Right? So I'll use this tool. My command goes like this. I'll type nmap, and I have to give an IP address here. Fine. I have to give an IP address here. And so what IP address I'll give? I cannot give my IP address. I cannot give this computer's IP address or this or this. I want to scan my entire network. So what IP address I'll give? I'll give my network ID here. So I should be giving 192.168.1.0. What does it mean? This means this tool is going to scan all the devices in my network. Yes, all the devices in my network. So here you use network ID. So when you directly jump into network scanning without understanding IP address, probably you will be confused which computer's IP is 1.0 and why they are using this. Fine. And after this, I'll use /24. Okay, I'll use /24. I'll tell you the reason why I use /24 here. I'm going to scan the entire network, right? Entire network, and why this number 24 here. You all know this is class C, and class C has how many network and host portion? it has three networks and one host portion here. Yes. And when we have three networks and one host portion, what is the number of bits for IP address? It is 32 bits. IP is 32 bits. So we are scanning only the network here, and it is 8, 8, 8, and 8. All these combined together is 32. When you are concerned only about the network, not about the host, how many bits you have? 8 plus 8, 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. That is why you give 24 here. In case if it is class B, you'll give 16. In case if it is class A, you might give 8. Right? I'll explain the basic usage of this tool when we go for Kali Linux and network security. But you should understand whatever basic we are learning here will get repeated. They are all interlinked. The concepts, whatever you are going to learn, they are all interlinked. And if you miss few concepts, probably you might not be able to follow up with the class. Yes. And what else we have for now? Okay. I hope we are done with this. Public IP address and private IP address, we'll see tomorrow. I'll tell you what to do. And all these topics are from the inputs what we have got from you. Few are in the syllabus, but you guys, when like a lot of guys are asking with a lot of doubts on a particular topic, we try to include this, but we also have to understand we have a fixed time frame. So, and I shouldn't be dumping a lot of technical details in one day so that people might find it difficult to follow. So considering all these factors, I'll stop this for today now, but you have subnetting, which Soumita will handle now, and she'll tell you why you need subnetting, what is the importance of subnet mask, and in case you want to subdivide your network, what you're going to do, right? And again, this will be very much useful for working in a company or doing your projects or anything. This is going to help you, fine? So I'll hand over the session to Soumita. She will now she'll now discuss about what is subnetting and how it is done. Right? Thank you.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Good morning. Is my voice audible? Yes, great. Okay. So before starting with submitting, let's have a 2-minute break. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share you the attendance link for today. Day 2 attendance link. I will share it to you in Zoom chat right now. Go fill in the attendance and come back. Yes, and then we'll start submitting. So the attendance link for today, day 2, I'm sharing it to you in Zoom chat. You can go ahead and you can submit it. 1 minute, everyone in the meeting. Okay, so I've shared the attendance link. Please go ahead and submit your attendance. Okay, so I hope you have marked your attendance. The attendance link will be active in the Zoom chat only. So if you've not marked it, you can go ahead and you can mark. So we'll start with the session now. Yes. So we'll start with submitting. Yes, I'll handle submitting. So as of now, what you have learned is you've learned about IP. Yes, and now when you look at an IP, you will understand, or you will know what type of IP is it. That is what class it is. And when you know the class, you will be able to identify the subnet mask. Yes, and when you know the subnet mask, you will be able to understand or identify network ID, broadcast ID. So you know all this. Yes. So when you next time when you look at an IP, you will understand all these, and you will be able to find out all these. Now, why do we go for subnetting? So basically, talking about subnetting. Yes. Now, in larger companies, in big companies where there are many departments. Now, say for example, let's consider ABC as a company. Yes, and this ABC company has many departments. Say it has a sales department, it has a HR department, it has a development department, it has testing department. So this company has many departments. Okay, obviously each department will have its own employees. Yes, sales people will have like around 10 or 20 people working, HR people will have around 20 people working, development people have 20 people working, and testing department have 20 people working. Okay, so the first assignment which you did today, the first assignment which you did you did yesterday was with one switch. Yes, was with one switch and two computers. And when you tried pinging from one computer to another computer, you got the reply. Yes. So you got the reply. 1 minute, let me open my chat box. I can see. Okay. Yeah. So you were able to ping with each other. But taking this company, taking ABC, now the main criteria is sales people can communicate only with sales people, and HR people should communicate only with HR. Development people should communicate only with development people. So there is that criteria, which means you're going to have all these in the same network. Sales, HR, development, and testing team, everything is going to be in the same network. But when you shouldn't, when you try pinging from HR computer to sales computer, like two computers, one switch and two computers. But when you try to ping, you shouldn't get a reply. Yesterday, you got a reply. Yes, when you tried pinging from one computer to another computer, you got a reply. But today, when you try pinging from one computer to another computer, you are not going to get a reply. I think sir should have told you. First, you have subnet mask. Now for class A, you have one network portion and three host portion. For class B, you have two network portion and two host portion. And for class C, you have three network portion and one host portion. If this is the subnet mask value is again easy. Replace all network portion with 255 and host portion with 0. So 255.255 0.0.0 and this is 255.255.255.0. Now we know that this is the default subnet mask, predefined. Now like this, the subnet mask, which looks a bit different. Now 255.255.255.0 is the default subnet mask. Now see here, I'll write another dot. Let's say I'll write 190. When you find something like this, when you see a subnet mask which is a bit changed, then you should understand that subnetting has been done to the network. Okay, so why do we go for subnetting? We go for subnetting for two purposes. Yes, for two purposes. Normally, the first purpose is to minimize the cost. Now, in one network, I have two computers. This computer is sales and this computer is HR. Now, I don't want these two computers to communicate with each other. Yes, I don't want these two communicate with each other. If that is the case, one solution as a common man, one solution what I can give or you can give is to put them in different network. Yes, put sales into one network and put HR into another network, and then they won't communicate directly. Yes, but this is actually costly. This is actually costly. Now you have four departments. You can't keep buying routers and switches for each and every department. Yes, you cannot do that. So what we do is we go for subnetting, where we put both sales and HR into one network, and still they both won't be able to communicate with each other. Yes, this way we are minimizing the cost. So the number of routers and switches which you plan to buy, the cost will be minimized for that. Okay, you don't have to buy so many routers and so many switches. Subnetting allows you to, achieve this. Achieve this, and it will not. It will give you something like where sales and HR will not be able to communicate with each other. Yes, so this is one usage of subnetting. And the second usage of subnetting is this you have to understand clearly, to minimize IP wastage. To minimize IP wastage. So, what is this IP wastage? Now, tell me, like, now in my home, I am planning to buy two computers. Okay, in my home, I am planning to buy two computers. So, if I am planning to buy only two computers, which class of IP will be assigned for me? Very good. So obviously the IP which I will get assigned as class C. Super. So because class C is for home users. Now, as there is one calculation, and when you perform that calculation, you will understand for each and every class, for class A, class B, and class C, how many computers you can connect. Yes, there is a calculation, and for each and every class, when you calculate, it will give you an answer to how many computers you can connect to one class. In that case, for class C, the number of computers that you can connect for one network is 254. Okay, so for class C, the number of computers that you can connect for one network is 254. Now, in my case, there are only two computers. So I have two computers, which means I need only two IP. So when I need two IP, I will take only two hosts, and remaining 252 hosts are getting wasted. Yes, remaining 252 hosts are getting wasted. For class C, the number of computers that you can connect for one network is 254. And in my case, I have only two computers. So I take two hosts for me, and the remaining 252 hosts are wasted. Now, this wastage can be minimized by subnetting. So how are we going to do that? So I'll tell you how we will do that. In subnetting, what we will do to minimize this wastage, that is this remaining 252 which is wasted, you can use it for some other purpose. You can use it for another department also. Okay, so we'll see that with example, but I'll tell you one thing, please understand. So to perform this, what subnetting will do is for class C, as I told you, the default subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. When you write this in the binary form, the answer will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the same answer, when you write it in binary form, you're going to get this. Okay. Now, suppose my requirement is 5 computers. I need 5 hosts. Okay, my requirement is 5 computers. So in subnetting, what this subnetting will do is how many hosts you require. Okay, how many hosts you require, it will leave that. So from the right hand side, it will count. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It will leave this, and the remaining host portion, The remaining host portion, you all know this is the network portion and this is the host portion. So the remaining host bits which is wasted will be converted into network bit. Okay, so you will convert 0 as 1, this as 1 and this as 1. Okay, so in subnetting, it will take the number of hosts that it actually want. Yes, and then the wasted host bit will be converted into network bits. That is, you convert it into 1. Now, the same value, when you try converting to this decimal form, do you think you will get the same 255.255.255.0? When now this answer, this binary, yes. So you will not get the same answer. When you try converting this pattern into decimal form, the answer which you will get is 255.255.255.192 plus, I mean, the answer for this is, I think it will be 224. Yes, for this, the answer will be 224. When you convert it into decimal form, the answer will be 224. Now, this doesn't look like a default subnet mask. We know this is the default subnet mask. And this doesn't look like a default subnet mask. Then what is this? This is called custom subnet mask. Custom subnet mask. So in subnetting, to minimize IP wastage, we do a process. So the process is converting the wasted host bit into network bit. Now, when you convert the wasted host bit into a network bit, the subnet mask which you get will not be default subnet mask. It is going to be custom subnet mask. Okay, so it is nothing but you are just converting all the wasted host bit into network bit and you get a custom subnet mask. Now, once you understand this concept, what we will do is we will see a real-time example. Okay, so we'll see a real-time example. How 224, there is a calculation for this to convert binary numbers into decimal numbers. There is, I'll tell you in short, there is a calculation. You just have to take 2 power 7, 2 power 6, 2 power 5, 2 power 4, 2 power 3, 2 power 2, 2 power 1 and 2 power 0 and write the answers. For 2 power 0, the answer is 1. For this, it is 2, it is 4, it is 8, 16, 32, 64 and 128. Now what you have to do is you have to assign this value. So I have 3 ones and all zeros. So it is 1, 2, 3 and it is all 0, 0, 0 and 0. Now what you have to do is you have to multiply these two numbers. 1 and 128 you will multiply and the answer that you get you will add. So 128 plus 1 into 64 is 64 plus 1 into 32 is 32. So when you add 128 plus 64 plus 32, the answer that you get is 224. So this is like the conversion of binary into decimal. Okay, binary into decimal. All right. Okay. So now we'll see a real-time example of how this is actually done. Yes, we'll see a real-time example of how this is actually done. So we'll take a scenario. We'll take a scenario. Yes. So the scenario is there is a company. Okay. There is a company and the company comes with a requirement. Company comes with a requirement as they have two teams. One is sales and another one is HR. And for each team, they need 120 computers. Okay. So there is a company which has two teams, sales and HR, and it needs for 120 computers for sales and 120 for HR. Now they come up with a need saying that they wanted a cost-effective solution where you shouldn't give them a costly solution. You are going to set up this entire thing in one network. Yes. So you're going to set up this entire sales and HR into one network. And when sales computer tries to ping HR computer, you have to stop the access. That is, sales should not ping to HR computer. When sales computer tries pinging to HR computer, it shouldn't get a reply. So this is what you're going to achieve. So this we will achieve using subnetting. Now to do this, we are going to see something a little mathematical, but it is going to be very simple. We have 5 steps. Yes, we have 5 steps to follow. So now we will write subnetting for this. Okay, so we will write subnetting. I will write subnetting for this and I will show you. And for today, you will configure this in your packet tracer. Okay, you will do this practically in your packet tracer. I will write the steps for you. So we have sales and HR. Okay, so the step one, what you have to do is you have to find the class. So you have to find under which class this requirement comes in. So you have 120 computers and we need to find under which class this requirement comes in. So you keep in mind that always when you take class C can have 254 hosts for one network. It can have 254 hosts. Remember this number. Okay. Now when class C can have 254 numbers, you add 120 plus 120. So overall, there are 240 computers. So now is check whether this 240 is less than 254 or not. If it is less than 254, then we can assume that this particular requirement comes under class C. Okay, so we have to add the number of requirement, the number of hosts which is actually required, and then you have to check whether it meets the condition, whether it is less than 254. So if it is less than 254, then you should assume or you should understand that this requirement comes in the class C. Okay, so this is the first step. So first step, we have found out the class. The second step which you are going to do is you're going to find N. So what is this N? This N is nothing but the number of network bits to borrow. So from your default subnet mask, how many host bits you're going to convert into network bit. So we are going to calculate for that. Now for this, you have a formula. So the formula is 2 power n greater than or equal to required number of network. Okay. 2 power n greater than or equal to required number of network. You have to satisfy this condition. Now 2 power n, okay, I'll come back. What is this required number of network? With this scenario, we have two teams. One is sales and another one is HR. So now we have to assume that there is two network which is required. One is for sales and another one is for HR because they both are different teams or different departments. So we'll consider that the required number of network is 2 because we have 2 here, sales and another one is HR. So the condition which you should satisfy is 2 power n greater than or equal to 2. You have to satisfy this condition. Now, how do you do that? So first we'll try assigning n value as 0. Now, when you assign n value as 0, 2 power 0 answer is 1. So 1 greater than or equal to 2 is actually not correct. So it doesn't satisfy. So now what we'll do is we'll assume n value as 1. So 2 power 1 answer is 2. 2 greater than or equal to 2 is actually correct. It satisfies or it meets the condition. So we'll take that the value of n is 2. The value of n is 1. Yes, the n value is 1. So when we assigned 1 for n, it meets the condition. So we'll take the value of n as 1. So how many network bits are we going to borrow? We're going to borrow only 1 network bit. Okay. So now we'll go for step 3. So step 3 is where you find the custom subnet mask. Now we know it is class C. This requirement comes under class C. So what we will do is we will write the binary form of class C. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the value of n which we have found here is 1, which means you have to borrow only one network portion from the host portion. So what we will do is we will take one host portion and we will convert it into network portion. Okay, I will take one host portion and I will convert it into network portion. And you have to come in this order because this is network, this is network, and this is network. So in host portion, if you want to convert it into network, then you have to take it from left hand side to right hand side. Okay, so we are converting one host portion to the network portion. Now the answer which you get will be 255.255.255. 2 power 7 answer is 128. So the custom subnet mask which you get is 255.255.255.128. So the three main things for subnetting, you're done. The first thing is to identify the class, under which class this requirement comes in. And the second thing is to identify n. So to find n, that is, we are finding n so that we will know how many network portions we should borrow. Now for that, the formula is 2 power n greater than or equal to required number of network. So how do we get this required number of network? This required number of network is nothing but the number of departments which is written here. So we have two departments. One is sales and another one is HR. So since we have two departments, we take the required number of network as 2. Now, in case if you have three departments here, say you have sales, you have HR, and you also have support team, then you can take required number of network as 3. Okay. So now the condition that you should satisfy is 2 power n greater than or equal to 2. So to satisfy this, you are assigning value for n. You're assigning n value as 0 and checking whether it is satisfying. No. And again, you assign n value as 1 and it satisfies the condition. So we assume the value of n is 1. Okay. Now after that, you find the custom subnet mask. So for a custom subnet mask, you should first write your default subnet mask, and from the host portion, you're going to borrow only one network portion. Since we have found out only one value, you're going to convert one host portion into network portion, and then you get an answer, and that answer will be your custom subnet mask. Right? So this is step 3. Now step 4. Step 4 is to calculate number of network and host. Now, okay, now we have found out the custom subnet mask. Now we should see whether this meets the condition. We should see whether the custom subnet mask which we have found meets the condition of, meets the requirement. We have one requirement, that is sales 120 and HR 120, and we should see whether it meets the requirement. So for that, you have to calculate the number of network and host. To calculate number of network, the formula is 2 power n. And to calculate number of host, the formula is 2 power h minus 2. So you have to calculate this in C. So how do we calculate? First, for 2 power n, how many network portion did we borrow? We borrowed only 1. So the value of n is 1. 2 power 1, which is 2 network. And after you borrow one host portion, how many remaining host portions you have? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is 2 power 7 minus 2, h value. 7 minus 2. So 2 power 7 is 128 minus 2, which is 126 hosts. So for the custom subnet mask that you have found out, that is 255.255.255.128, you get two networks. And in two networks, you can have 126 hosts. Yes, you get two network, and for each network, you get 126 hosts. Now, my requirement is for sales 120 and for HR 120. So this 126, I will give it to sales, and this I will give it to HR. Now, 6 bits getting wasted is fine, because now in case if sales department gets another 5 computers and they want it to be in sales team, they can include it. If HR gets 5 computers and they wanted it to be in their team, they can include it. So 6 or 7 networks, 6 to 10 hosts getting wasted is okay. Okay. So now with the custom subnet mask that you have found, you get 2 network and the condition is actually satisfied. The requirement has been met. Now the last step which you should do is IP assigning. Okay. So now we know we have 2 network, and we know for each network you have 126 computers. Now for sales and HR, you should give an IP. For sales and HR, you should give an IP. So for that, we have to calculate IP. So since it starts with class C, since this requirement comes under class C, I'll take class C IP address. So it is 192.168.1.0. I'll take this as the starting IP. And for sales, how many computers can I connect? 126. Yes. Now to calculate this, there is a very, very short and quick formula, and it is easy. See here. assume this value as A and this value as B. So now what you are going to do is you're going to write the ending IP 192.168.1. You don't know what is the ending IP. Yes, where it should end. For sales team, where it should end. So assume this is A and this is B. So the formula is A plus B. The answer that you get is C. Add plus 2. The answer that you get is D. And minus 1. The answer that you get is E. Now just assign the value. A plus B. A value is 0 and B value is 126. So the answer is 126. And add 2. It is 128. And minus 1, it is 127. So the answer is 127. So you have to assign the E value here. Similarly, for HR, you have to type 192.168.1. The next IP after 127 is 128. And even for HR, you can have 126 computers. So here again, you assume this as A and this is B. Yes, now again, substitute it in the same formula. So it is 128 plus 126. The answer is 254. And add 2, the answer is 256. And minus 1, the answer is 255. So the range is 192.168.1.255. Okay. So this way we have found out the IP range for sales and HRT. This way we have found out the IP range for sales. So for sales computers, the IP range will be from 1.0 to 1.127. And for HR computers, the IP range will be from 1.128 to 1.255. Okay. So these are the 5 steps which we've done for subnetting. Yes. So now we have the first step we have, what we did is we identified the class. Second step, we got the N. And third step, we calculated custom subnet mask. And then fourth step, we had number of calculation for number of network and host. And the fifth step for IP assigning. Yeah. Now what you will do is, I'll open another paint window as of now. So what you will do is in your packet tracer, you will take a switch. In your packet tracer, you will take a switch and you're going to place 2 computers in your packet tracer. This computer is going to be sales and this is going to be HR. For sales computer, you have to give an IP from sales range. Now, for sales, we have IP range from 1.0 to 1.127. Now, as you all know, leave all the first and last IP. When you take IP, you have to take from the middle. First and last IPs, you leave it. So let's assume for sales computer, I'll take IP as 192.168.1.10. 1.10. And for HR computer, I have 1.128. I'll take 1.130. So 192.168.1.130. So for sales and HR, I'll assign IP from each of its range. Okay. And the second thing what I should do is with the subnet mask. Now, when you give default subnet mask, obviously, when you try pinging, it will give you a reply. That is why we have found out a custom subnet mask. So for both the computers, you have to specify the custom subnet mask 255.255.128. And even for this, you will assign 255.255.255.128. So after all this setup and after assigning IP and subnet mask to each computers, open sales computer. Yes, open sales computer. So from sales computer's command prompt, try pinging. Ping 192.168.1.30. When you try pinging from sales computer to HR computer, you shouldn't get a reply. The answer which you should get is request timed out. When you get this output, then the entire assignment which you've done is correct. Okay, so this is your to do for today. That is the same setup which you did yesterday, but you're going to give different IPs and you're going to give custom subnet mask instead of default subnet mask. So when you give this way and when you try pinging from one computer to another computer, it's going to tell you that you cannot establish a connection and the request has been timed out. So that is why we go for subnetting. So for this, for you to do this assignment, we have done all these steps and we have calculated it. I'll also show it to you once in Packet Tracer. Packet Tracer. Okay. Okay, so in Packet Tracer, okay, so in Packet Tracer, so what you have to do is you have to take a switch and then take two computers, one computer here and another computer here. Then try connecting both the both the computers to switch. So we'll connect computer to switch, and then again we'll connect computer to switch. Okay, now to assign IP, open this computer and go to desktop, IP configuration. So let's assign 192.168.1.10 and the custom subnet mask value, which is 128. Close it. Go to computer 2 and go to IP configuration, type 192.168.1.130 and custom subnet mask 128. Okay, so and now when you try pinging from this computer to this computer, the answer which you should get is request timed out. Okay, and once you get this output, what you can try is you can add two more computers. That is another one computer for sales team, another one computer for sales team, and another one computer for HR team. Assign another IP of from sales range to this computer and assign another IP of HR range to this computer. Then try pinging from this computer to this computer. It shouldn't give you a reply. Okay, from sales to sales, it should ping. From this computer to this computer, it should ping. When you try pinging from this computer to this computer, you should get a reply. But when you try pinging from this computer to this computer, you shouldn't get a reply. Okay, so this is what you're going to do with Packet Tracer today. Yes, so once you're done, if you're done with the assignments, you can let us know. If you have any doubts, you can post your queries in the Skype group. Okay, and even today's video will be uploaded in YouTube and the YouTube link will be shared to you as well. It will be in the drive also, but people who are facing issues with downloading the actual video, we will upload it in YouTube. You can go ahead and you can download it from YouTube as well. Yes. Thanks a lot. Good day. Thank you.